Okay, let us start now. Good morning. Warm welcome to our masters, Brother Joe Huang, Hualien Dharma team, and brothers and sisters around the globe to Saturday Hualien Dharma Talk. A very good morning. Let us start the session for today. Recently, disasters have happened so rapidly one after another due to the great imbalance of four elements. Now, with COVID-19 pandemic around the world, Master have great concern and earnestly urge everyone to repent and adopt vegetarian meal to protect life and cultivate our great love towards living beings and for goodness of society and the world. Let us send our sincere prayers into the 10 directions. May the Sahara land be free from disaster and peace prevails in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere piousness.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. From my heart, I pray. May we join our hands, our hearts as one. Spread the seeds of great love, nurture wisdom evermore. Let us fill the world with hope. In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. May all the Buddhas know my prayer. All united with one heart, let us end our hate with love. May there be no suffering hereafter.
May all minds be purified. May there be peace in the community. May there be no disaster in this world. Before we hear review of Wonders Lotus Sutra, let us invite our masters to lead us in paying homage to Triple Gems. Let us pay our respects for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Ji Ren by making 3 sincere bows. Please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Upper Masters who could join us today. Kantan. Today we have Brother Joe who will be sharing with us Dharma talk, and followed by Brother Ji Ren on the journey in Tzu Chi. Okay, before we go to hear the sharing from Brother Joe, let us invite Sister Tzu Chi, who will share with us the summary of previous weeks. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, good morning, everyone. All right. Okay, here we are. So last week we had Master Joe Huang, who started. Master's message on Saturday morning is about the future that is in our hands. We have the power to change the fate of the earth by not giving in to our tummy's demands. The grand lesson from this pandemic is related to food. Through our daily meals, we can be a cause for doing good, not only for the earth, but we are also saving lives when we choose at every bite to use forks over knives. A meat diet puts us in debts, as our greed is left unsatiated and unchecked. A vegan diet keeps us clean and light, as with every life we treasure and respect. So let us get more and more people on this vegan revolution and illuminate more souls with this also simple earth and life-changing solution. Then we had Sister Yachi on her journey in Durban, South Africa. Tzu Chi in Africa started in 1985, but it was almost 10 years later when true effort started to arrive. Through Brother Michael Pan's visit to Hualien, he understood the power of a team, strengthened by a foundation of values, nothing too extreme. But this takes time and effort. People do not change overnight. Yes, it is true, but showing people the way to salvation is really worth the fight. From South Africa to Namibia to Malawi and many other places, Tzu Chi has set footprints of hope with loving kindness and brought smiles to many faces. Through all stories, the one important lesson was shared, that we must not judge another based on our prejudice, which is impaired. Even when poor, spiritually rich people will always do what is right. Even when scared or threatened, spiritually rich people will be the first to be the light. When faced with this realization, the Tzu Chi team understands its mission even more clearly and will continue with its efforts to plant more positive seeds even more sincerely. And that is it from me today. I shall stop share and I'll pass it over to Brother Joe. Is Brother Joe in the house? Brother Joe?
Okay, kind Sister Tzu Chi and Sister Lily for the wonderful sharing. Please wait for a moment. I think Brother Joe is joining. Okay, please wait for a while.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Sorry, apologize for the wait. There was a bit of a misunderstanding on my side. Apologize for the waiting. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, brother.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. Thanks for everybody. Once again, we're back to our weekly review. I'm glad that every week we're sort of reminded of our progress, reminded of what our homework is, reminded of how much further that we have to work on because they're just simply a long road. But I think every week we're also reminded of who are besides, who are standing and walking besides us, who are alongside on this journey, and checking also reflecting ourselves on whether if we are walking on the right path. Okay, so today, all right. Okay, so something that I want to share about with everybody today. In the past, we've been talking about, previously, we talked about the Four Noble Truths. This is something that I'm trying to do on the Chinese side, and something that I'm trying to get more people to discuss and also share. As today we only have until 7, so this will be something that we can talk about in the future when we do have more time. But we discuss about the Four Noble Truths, and we discuss about the cause, condition, effect, and consequences. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I would like to truly bring these terms and bring these terminologies and ideas and concepts closer to everybody so that we could actually apply them and use them. Now, I understand that these 4 terms or the Four Noble Truths, there's something that we only use when we're discussing and talking about something that's pertaining to religion or pertaining to Buddhism or pertaining to something that's talking about Tzu Chi, then we'll talk about this. But when we use them outside of this sphere, when we use it outside of this different group of people, then we sort of feel out of place. You know, we sort of feel that it's not exactly the right place to talk about these things. Now, this is something that I want to try to elevate all of us. You know, sometimes when we say in the Bible, you know, it talks about a particular teaching or it talks about a particular story, and it will lead everybody to better understand. That's something that we're trying to do also here with Master's teaching. How can we use the teaching in our everyday lives? Not so much as Master said this, but the idea and the concept behind it. It is right, not because Master said it. It is right because it is right. This is the truth, and therefore it is right. We should be doing the right things, not because Master told us to do it, but because it is the right things. And Master simply guide us and encouraged us and leading us to do the right things. So it should be the same way in that it's not so much that the Buddha said it, but rather the ideas behind all these things. So we talked about the Four Noble Truths, about how it is a very scientific way to analyze a problem. Can we analyze a problem this way? When we see a problem, and then we begin to sense and visualize this problem as the truth of suffering. Do we see the different parts of this problem? Can we widely see how everyone else, if everybody else is seeing the same problem, right? So usually in any organization, when you're encountering a problem, you would also like to know, have other people, our competitors or our partners, have they encountered similar problems before? How do they deal with this? And this is the truth of suffering, to widely know how other people are faring and also their sufferings are. And I think that's what Master had taught us in the truth of suffering, in that we need to know more about other people's suffering. And that is in a way telling us that whatever the challenges that you're facing, other people are facing it too. So how are they faring in encountering these suffering? That's the first truth. Second one, do you know where the truth comes from, the origins of the suffering? And this is how we break down into the past. What happened in the past to cause this thing that is happening right now. So this is something that I'm keep on trying to let everybody know, and also make myself more aware that that's how we break down problems, right? To see how other people, if they are also encountering the problems, and also to see where the problems come from, and then make a very firm determination on what part of the problem do we want to end, or what part of the problem do we want to solve. For example, if it's a particular organization that is failing, is it failing because it's not reaching its objective? Or is it failing because the objective is not clear? Is it failing because the people? Is it failing because the product? Is it failing because it's not able to keep up with the time? All these things, there are all these workshops that help people and organization figure out the why, right? So that's the second part. And then the third part is to try to figure out, well, now that you know the true problem, are you resolved to end it? Are you resolved to solve this problem? If you're trying to solve 5 problems at the same time, you probably are going to get 5 not very good results. But rather, if you are taking one of the core problems out, whether it's a low-hanging fruit or it's the root of all the problems, you're trying to solve that one problem, chances are good that you will have a good progress. And then once you are finally resolved to solve this problem, then you can boldly charge ahead and figure out how to deal with the problems. And the cause and condition, effect, and consequences will be the same way. How do you, what the seeds that you plant, the conditions that you gather so that it makes the seeds able to grow, and the effect is what you get out of this, the seeds, and also the consequences. What do you do after that? So we talked about these things in the past few weeks, and we also discussed them, hoping to get a better understanding of them. So today we're going to use the rest, about 20 minutes, to go through the some other concepts that I would like to be clear, everybody to be clear, including myself. So today we're going to talk about 诚正信实, sincerity, integrity, faith, and steadfastness. Now, the things that I think about is, do we truly understand sincerity, integrity, faith, and steadfastness? What does it mean to truly understand? Do we clearly understand what it means? Do we truly, clearly understand? So truly understand is to tell us that you know the meaning truly in your heart. Clearly understand means that every word has a particular associated meaning, and it's very clear cut from another word. And one of the problems that we find is that these 4 terms are so closely related to each other that when we see them, we use them and we understand them in a blob. It's like a big blob, a big blob. Instead of dough being made into noodles, it's a big blob of dough. Just like a lot of times when we hear master teaching, and I'm not saying this for all of you, but for a lot of us, including myself, after we hear master's teaching for about 40 minutes or an hour, if you ask yourself, what did you get out of this? What did I learn out of all this? It will be very difficult to pick out 5 top key concepts from what we just heard that is pertaining to what we just heard. And the meaning is, and the reason is very simple. You have an emotional attachment to the teachings, like, oh, I was so moved, I was so touched, and I was very joyous. Now, these are the emotional attachment to the teaching. But then there are the intellectual attachments to the teaching. That would be to be able to truly understand and to be able to clearly understand. So how do we know if we truly or clearly understand something? And that's what we want to talk about, right? To make sure that the four terms, sincerity, integrity, faith, and steadfastness, do we really understand? Do we truly understand? Do we clearly understand? And how do we know if we truly or clearly understand what they mean? Or to us, are they just a big blob? Like, yeah, I know what they mean, but it's a big blob. You use these terms interchangeably. That means there isn't a clear-cut understanding. One, the sincerity and integrity, they're sort of merged and they can be used interchangeably. That just means that we sort of understand and we don't clearly understand them because every term sort of has another meaning that is very similar. So today we're trying to make them more clear-cut and make it so that people better understand what they mean, so that when we explain to other people, they can also clearly and truly understand. So what does that mean to truly understand? I think that you have to understand the meaning first in your mind, in your heart. And then you have to be able to articulate. You have to be able to explain in your own terms. In your own terms, explain what you understand in its meaning, right? So first, understand the meaning in your mind, in your heart, and then explain it in your own terms, and then carry out in action. That's what I believe truly understand to me. And also, something that's very important is that if you have a teacher, then you would be able to verify whether your understanding in the meaning and your explanation and your action truly reflect the true understanding. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today in a very short time here now to understand the four terms. Okay, so sincerity. Let's first understand the meaning, explain in my own terms, not using other religious or other Buddhist terminology, but using something that's very plain, to explain to everybody, and then maybe carry them out in action. So what does that mean? Sincerity. I believe this reflects the attitude and action that truly reflect the feelings inside. Inside what? Inside me, inside my heart, inside my mind. You like something, your attitude and your actions that truly reflect that feeling. You like someone, you like something, you don't like someone, you don't like something. You don't say things that go against your heart. For example, you really don't like someone, but then you say something like, yeah, I like it, but you don't. So when you do that, the other person, the other party, they would be able to feel that you're not genuine, that you're not sincere, because that's not how your attitude, and that's not how you feel inside, right? Do you really feel what you say? Or do you really do what you think? Do you feel that way? When you say, I care for you, when you say, I enjoy this, do you really enjoy it? When you say, I am very happy to be here today, are you really very happy? That is sincerity. If you're saying things, if you're thinking, and if you're acting according to your true feelings inside, that is sincerity. So ask yourself, can you understand what it means to be sincere? Now ask yourself, can you explain in your own terms to other people what it means? Now ask yourself, can you carry this out in action? Have you done something that is really sincere? Like you're singing the song prayer, and then you have tears streaming down your cheek because you really feel that you want the voices and the sounds of prayer reaching high up into the sky and into all the Buddhas? Is that really reflecting how you feel? When you say that you want to help all sentient beings, do you really mean it? When you say that you are truly grateful, do you mean it? And if you do, that means you've done it. Okay, so that's what sincerity means. To reflect what's really inside of you, what you think, what you feel, and then you carry out in attitude and in action. So when we say that we love our children, are your attitude and actions truly reflect that feeling? Or are you saying things that you didn't want to say and you hurt them, right? When we're angry and we say things that we don't mean, that means we're not sincere, because our actions and attitude don't reflect how we feel. And sometimes we say things deliberately to anger or to be playful, etc. That means we're not sincere. So being sincere means your attitude and your action, what you say, what you think, what you act, are truly according to how you feel inside. So that's why Master said, with sincerity, I vow to deliver all sentient beings. Why? Because without sincerity, it wouldn't happen. All the sentient beings would feel and know that you're not real. You're saying that I really care about you. And then you hear the words, but you see the person and you hear the words. You know the meaning of the words, but you know that that's not how they truly feel. That's why when you want to deliver all sentient beings, your heart has to be in it. Put your heart into it. That means truly believe it inside. And when that happens, they will feel it. Even if what you do is lacking, even if you don't have all the strength, even if you don't have all the power, but you have that heart and they can feel it. I would do my best. And when they hear it, they know that you don't have all the power, but you put in everything you have. And that's sincerity. Integrity. I'm going to speed up a little bit now. Integrity. Understand the meaning. Explain it in your own terms, and also be able to carry out in action. So what does that mean, integrity? I think what it means, according to my own terminology, is to act and say and do things according to the rules and precepts. Okay, so usually what it means that there are rules that we abide by, right? In Tzu Chi, there are also rules and precepts. And that's something that's very important. Why? Because in sincerity, we talked about following your heart. We talked about do what you truly feel. The problem is our hearts are clouded. Where a lot of times we're clouded, right? Follow your heart. That's what Brother Joe says. Okay, I'm gonna go, and after this, I'm gonna go to the shopping mall and buy all the things to my heart's content because Brother Joe says, follow your heart. No, okay, no. These words and terminology have to work in conjunction with each other. So follow your heart, but also follow the precepts. So if the heart and the precepts are going against each other, you need to do the right things, right? So you can't just do it because Master says so. It had to be the right things to be done, right? So what do we follow? Not just your heart. You had to put your heart into it, yes, but not just blindly follow your heart. We follow precepts. We follow the guiding teacher. We put our heart into it. What we do is what we think, what we believe. What we say is what we think and what we believe. That's putting your heart into it. But also what we do and what we say are following the precepts and following the teachings of our guiding master. That is integrity. That's what integrity means. So a lot of people says sincerity, integrity, they're sort of similar, right? 诚正, honesty, and all these things. They seem to be very, it's a block, right? It's like, gray and light gray, dark gray. They're all the same gray. But how do you finally differentiate them. When you truly understand and clearly understand them, then you will be able to explain them and differentiate them clearly. Okay, so integrity is following the precepts and following the teachings of the guiding master, but sincerity means with your heart. Put your heart into your action because you believe. Okay, so now with integrity, I vow to eliminate all afflictions, because without the guiding teachers and without the precepts, you will not be able to eliminate the afflictions. So eliminating afflictions and the poisons because you follow all the teachings and all the path correctly. Faith, what does that mean? Faith. Have faith in the Buddha Dharma, that all the teaching that we talked about, it's not just the answer, but they are ways for us to find the answer. Have faith in the innate Buddha nature that we all have. So this is about follow your heart, the true Buddha's heart and Buddha nature that we have in all of us, that we had to have faith in that. But most importantly, and this is what I believe, I'm telling you, I believe most vehemently is have faith and have hope. And what does that mean? It's very difficult to do something or to be on the Bodhisattva path if you don't have hope. If you do something and you don't see a future and you don't see that how this is going to make any difference, then it's very difficult for you to keep up. Even in Haiti, when it's very, very difficult to help, and it's very, very difficult to provide assistance to the people that are suffering, even after all these 20-some years. But there's still hope. Why? Because you see people change. You see the difference you're making, and there is hope. What if 50 years ago, 55 years ago, Master started Tzu Chi Foundation, and then 55 years later, it's only gotten a lot worse. Nothing has changed, and it's gotten a lot worse. Would people still continue the journey? Very, very difficult. And Master continued because Master has the faith and has the hope that one day all minds will be purified, the society will be harmonious, and the world will be without disasters. And I'm saying this not as empty words. I'm saying this because Master truly believed that one day this will happen, that one day Pure Land will be on earth. And that's how strong faith is. Why? Because there are boundless sentient beings to deliver, the endless afflictions to eliminate. And the Dharma is infinitely profound. Without hope that one day we will be able to achieve all this, why would you continue? Without hope that one day this will work. If you don't believe that this will work, why are you doing this? We cannot hold, we cannot persist, we cannot continue for long duration if we do not have this hope. So I also believe that sincerity, integrity, a very important driving force in making all this happen is faith and hope. You have to have faith that this is going to work. You have to have faith to believe that this is the path that will lead us to purifying all the minds. Lastly, steadfastness. I rather talk about this as in substantial, actual, concrete. This is the part where we carry out the action. This is the part where we do the things that we believe. We do the things according to precept. And then we do the things because we believe and have faith that this is going to work. So there you go. These are the 4 terms that I like to share with all of you today. And it's 7 o'clock. I would like everybody to be able to clearly define and understand the meaning of each word. I would like everybody to be able to use them and reflect upon yourself. Do you truly understand the meaning? Do you clearly understand the meaning? And are you able to know if you truly or clearly understand the meaning? And how do you do that? Do you know the definition and the meaning in your mind? Are you able to explain it in your own terms, what the 4 words mean? And are you able to carry them out in action? And that's all what it means to truly understand. So out of the 4 terms, ask yourself and reflect, which one of the 4 have you truly achieved? Maybe not 100% of the time, but you're able to do it. You're able to do this. You know how to do this. It's like riding bicycle. You know how to ride the bicycle, even though you're not riding the bicycle 100% of the time. You know you can do it. Same thing. Do you know what it means? And can you carry them out? So that's the sharing for today. The sharing for today is sincerity, integrity, faith, and steadfastness. Do we understand them all? Can we apply them in our everyday life? Say something according to the meanings, according to how you truly feel. And then do things according to the precept and according to our guiding master who had taught us what to do. And then have faith in that this is truly how it's going to be in the future. One day, this will all work out. And then substantially, actually, concretely do it. And that's what the 4 terms mean. Okay, thank you all. That's the sharing for today. And I hope that we get a better understanding and we are able to apply them in our everyday lives. Thank you.
Brother Joe, for the wonderful guidance and insights on these principles of Chen Zhen Xingzi, sincerity, integrity, faith, and steadfastness, trust. After today's session, we can understand it better and clearer and reflect on how we apply it in our daily life. Today, we are very grateful to have Brother Ji Ren, very brother who has been working on these missions for many years with these 4 sincerity, integrity, faith, and steadfastness showing us the way. Brother has earlier shared with us the ones on prefabricated houses and also on the path of his international relief. And today we are very grateful to have Brother Ji Ren to continue sharing with us his personal journey in Tzu Chi. Okay, without much ado, let us invite Brother Ji Ren to share with us.
Then, thank you very much, Sister Tzu Chi, and also thank you very much to Brother Joe for such an inspiration thoughts given just now. Let me share the screen first. Can you see my screen?
Yes, brother.
So is it okay for all of you to see my screen clearly?
Yes, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I purposely select this photo, which I've shown, I think, maybe 4 months ago when I share my international relief, some of my experience, right? This is Brother Joe. You see, times flies very fast. And this is how Brother Joe looks like 10 years ago. And I still can see his sincerity and his eagerness in, spreading master teachings, Buddha's teaching, and spreading the Dharma. The way that he speaks is always so energetic and it's always, inspiring all of us. So I really appreciate what he mentioned just now, and it's really a reflection Chen Zhen Xing Si is always our master's the kind of mirror providing to us for us to always look at ourselves from the inner side. Yeah, so this photo is really a very precious photo for me. And the most important thing is all the disaster victims of the floods, you can see their smiling face. You know, their smiling face is actually inspired by Brother Joe, and he was bringing them to the relief area for a big event over there, right? So for today, I'm not going to talk about the Pakistan relief operations. It triggered me on something I want to share today. Of course, for my, in fact, to myself, I really involved in this international relief with my wholehearted and for nearly more than 10 years when I was still very young. You see, I traveled from Malaysia to Taiwan. It's just merely only one purpose. I want to join the international relief team back to 2005 after the tsunami happened in Indonesia. Right. So for nearly more than 10 years of time, I involved myself traveling here and there. Sometimes I was stationed, like for example, stationed in Sri Lanka for nearly 2 years, stationed in Myanmar for around 6 months or so on, and also at the time stationed together with Brother Joe in Nepal back to 2014, right, during the Nepal earthquake. So there was so many opportunity for me to experience myself. What's the impact of our human life under this instability of the Mother Earth, you see, due to the environment and so on. But today, besides all those things that I have seen myself in the during the disaster relief, and which I can really feel that, and also because of master teaching, all the disaster happen is due to the instability of the human mind themselves. It's not due to the outside world, but all is initiated from the greediness, all this unstable mind of the human beings themselves. Okay, well, today, before I move forward to the major topics that I want to share today, let me have something like what you call a learning from some experience. Frankly speaking, from so much of traveling and so much of work, you know, all those operations, all those physical administration work that I experienced, sometimes I felt very tired. You know why? Because physically and also mentally, sometimes you will feel very pressure. You just imagine that when you were in Pakistan, tomorrow there's going to have more than a few thousands of people is going to gather in the stadium, and they were so eager waiting for your material to be distributed to them. And somehow at the moment, your relief goods might not be in place yet. You know, it's still somewhere, or it's still, you know, on the journey from 200 kilometers away, you see, to come to the stadium or whatever it might happen. All those supplies to the meal. It's really a surprise. Sometimes you can't even find you know, certain very critical person and so on. So, but somehow it really forced me to always think of what are the things, or what are the lessons learned, especially to myself. You know, we always Master always remind us that you have to purify your mind before you can do further to help others. For example, when I was in Myanmar in 2008, when we were handling with those junta, with those military guys about how we can distribute, allow getting the permission to do the relief goods distribution to those victims. But the way that the government shown to us is always they are very arrogant, you see, because they think that they do not trust us and so on and so forth. So sometimes you feel very frustrated. You always think that we come over here from thousands of miles away, and then we are so humble, we are so sincere, and we come over here to want to help, and you still not believing us, you still not allowing us to commence our operation immediately. You see, the victims were so suffering, right? And the all those staff, all those what do you call those military guys still look at us, asking us to wait. I was waiting there for 1 month, doing no much thing. You see, only after 1 month later they allow us to start to do the distribution in a more open way. But anyway, Master always remind us that we are the person, we are taking the initiative to go over there, want to help those the victims. But somehow those people who are not suffering, they can't feel what we feel, right? They do not have the thoughts that their people will suffer. They will just only worry about whether our intention is not good enough, and so on and so forth. So this is the way that we have to influence them in a very, very soft way, to let them really feel what we are doing is sincere, is full of integrity. So this kind of master's teachings always support me in my own in my inner mind, that whatever we are doing, we have to have the confidence and have the belief in all the operations that we are doing. But for today, now although I'm not in the front line of doing the disaster relief, but I always trying to transform my experience into the current environment, because now I'm working in the Tzu Chi University in the Office of International Affairs. Although my surrounding and my working environment looks not so complicated compared to last time, but in fact, the work that I'm doing is really very meaningful, because education is somehow something that, as Master said, we ourselves always involved in education mission. Immaterial, you are reflecting on yourself, or you want to guide your body, or you want to guide your junior, or you want to guide your own sons or daughters, or you want to guide somebody, he's missing, you see. So in fact, the missions of education is something that everybody has the ownership to do it. Just like Brother Joe, right? So he has a greater mission on how he can transfer, or he can let us more closer to Master teaching through his way of expression. It's really very inspiring. Like I think 3 months ago, I was sharing about the Yolanda disaster relief in Philippines, and this is just some photo that I want to let people who all of you who might not have any remember about this scenario again. This is the prefabric houses that we call it a temporary shelter, or we call it shelter home, that we build for our victims, you see. And how this thing can be used in my daily life in Tzu Chi University. I try to work with our professor over there, and when they are conducting some service learning program, you see. So I will try to make the model for them, for the students to experience, because they might not be able to go to Philippines to see how the thing works, right? But they have the chance to experience it. And today I'm going to show you a very short video, maybe about 10 minutes. It's actually a video I asked the student to edit for me. In fact, last semester, we have one service learning program. We integrate our university students from Tzu Chi University to the students from Manahe Tzu Chi school in Turkey, in Turkey, Sultan Gazi city of Sultan Gazi in Turkey, in Istanbul. This program is basically how our university students guide our these students from Manahe school, or our Tzu Chi Manahe school, for our these students from Syria. Okay, so let us have some experience on this first. Can you hear the sound?
Yes, can hear sound, kan?
Yes.
Is it okay?
So next week you will show us your drawing with the colors on this house.
Hi, bro.
我觉得印象最深刻的是有机会可以跟在土耳其的叙利亚同学交流，因为在台湾你可能有一些机会可以跟，比如说日本、韩国的同学交流，或者是甚至是跟美国、欧洲的朋友交流，但是很难有机会能够认识在叙利亚的朋友，所以我觉得这是一个最让我印象深刻的地方。
You guys can start to discuss together, right? We'll need to work together and come up with a drawing on how you will design the house.
Hi everyone, my name is Viam Azir. I'm 14 years old. I like to draw in my free time and watching a movie. I was enjoying in the Zoom sessions with my student university. They are amazing and lovely and kind. Thank you for listening, and the session that impressed me the most was the shelter house project. I loved cocktail designs. It was amazing, and I learned many things from you guys. I thank you all, and I love you all. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Mohammed. I'm from Syria. I'm 10 years old. My hobby is swimming and I want to be engineer in the future. Bye.
Hello guys, my name is Hanan from Al-Manahil School. I'm 16 years old in the 10th grade. My favorite subject is English and history. My hobbies are drawing and writing story. My favorite sport is football. And in my spare time, I read stories or watch movies and anime. I want to be in the future translator or English teacher. I learned a lot from you, and the time we spent together was really beautiful. I will never forget. Everyone in the group H was so kind and talented. Thank you, really. Bye.
Hualien trusted her and she borrowed her the necklace. This one is the more colorful version. Here, yeah, there we go.
June 5th, you will need to provide a message, so writing, and also a drawing to me. If you want to draw more, draw less, it's okay, but at least one. Is that okay?
I will explain the meaning of graduation first. So, graduation means you complete studies. It's a big study. It's like you study university, and as you have complete the studies of university, so eventually you are graduates.
Any questions for today?
You must have partition. Okay? 所以这个是 partition 的 system 啊。
Most impressive part from this course is I think I really remember throughout the interaction with about the topic Amy story. I asked them what if you have 1 billion in your pocket money, what will you do with that kind of much of money? And then one of the members from another partner said that of course she wanted to help other people and also make their family happy.
乱了吗？这一个角是 A， 然后 M
计划人生。 I'm sorry, I accidentally triggered something. Actually, our students from the university, they paint according to the design, you know, from the students from Chile.
And also, thank you for this beautiful house.
Thank you for this beautiful house.
Thank you for doing this effort. Thank you for doing this. Mahmoud a little bit has weak English, so he always tells me to help him. He's saying that thank you for building this house and doing this effort, even though you are miles away from us. Thank you for doing this much effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the students from the Tzu Chi University. What you effort, we can understand, we can feel it. And I think that our student, Manaha school student, also they are happy in this Ramadan Eid festival, receive this kind of the gift from you. Thank you very much, Cindy, and all teachers and students from Tzu Chi University. And I'm very happy to see this meeting. Students join us. Thank you very much.
So what's the reason why they were so attracted by this project? Why the Manahe students? Because we also let them know that all these are coming from very far away from Philippines. This model house is not simply building for the sake of a learning process, but it's really from a real life. And for the Manahe students, when they found out that, in fact, in this world, they are not the only group of people suffering. You see? So it makes them have this kind of empathy and sympathy to other people as well. And this really opened their mind. And they also have the dream house. The Banahe students, they also lost their home, right? So they also have the kind of dream for themselves to own even just a small house like that. 可是里面都是一样的，在带领我们同学们呢，跟这些师伯们一起呢，看怎么样去体会到说，哇，原来每一个过程是不容易，让他们体会到说，你要付出是要这个。
因此，我们模仿2013年远见的菲律宾慈济大爱村，设计了比例1/6的模型屋，让慈大同学及叙利亚孩子们体会大爱屋的远见过程，启发爱心，立下乐于助人的心愿与信心。
Nahanu Tulam Mizemar Tzu
我们是来自马纳黑的同学。
شرفت بمعرفتك. Hangau Ren Shuniman.
I would like to say thank you very much. I was very happy to meet you, and Yin Yang and Emmy and Lily. Thank you very much. I love you.
Thank you so much, Yara. Hanan.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We will miss you.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Maram.
I want to say thank you guys. I love you so much. I wish that meeting's not ending. I'm so sad that the meeting is ending. And just thank you, love you.
Okay, so you can see that in fact this program is really touching my heart also as well. You can see even though for the students they never physically meeting each other for 10 weeks, but somehow the process they gone through is going to implant a very strong belief in their mind. This is what I myself believe also, because to us, to our Tzu Chi Foundation, whatever we are doing over here, you know, when the time flies, whatever we have done 10 years ago, you might no longer be there. Even whatever houses you have built, even 10 years, 20 years later, it might not be there. But the most important thing is whether the kind of belief or the kind of intention, the kind of good deeds we have ever implanted to the human beings that we have met before. Now I want to share one more thing that is really strengthen or make me feel that having a good thought or the kind of belief or intention is really very, very important. This is one of the experience I might have shared with you last time, but I want to go into a little bit details. To me, this project is always in my mind, because this is the first time I really involved in this cash relief project. And this one was back to 2009. where the typhoon hit Philippines. This is the first time we started our project for the cash relief to clean their hometown, and this is a situation that happened that time. You can see all the rubbish, all the water course, right, was stuck by the truss, and it looks like it become like a road. And you can see the whole area of city Marikina is all flooded and involving 130,000 population. It's really, really very, very big area affected in the Manila metropolitan. Okay, so you can see this, the condition is very poor, it's very bad. And you can see all the roads, you know, the neighborhoods were all damaged and destroyed, and there's no food, no city at all. And at that time, Master wants us to quickly go and clean so that the victims can go back to their home and can start to build their own, the stand up again, right? So you can see there are so many, the whole area was so big, so huge. You can't do it by your own, or you can't even do it by the Tzu Chi volunteer alone. We have to mobilize people. And this chart is actually what we experienced at that time. From the first day until the 6th or even the 10 days, every day only not more than 1,000 people believe us. They won't believe that. Why they want to work with us to clean the city? They never trust us, right? But somehow, after from every day, our volunteers sincerely go to the relief evacuation center in the schools and talk to them, motivate them, and eventually, you see, every day we have a talk. We can call it a Dharma talk because we always try to convey our master's teaching, our master's expectation on love to them. And you can see after their mind is already, they have their trust on us, you can see how quickly we are. Within 1 or 2 days, we can clean the whole route, and we can clean nearly the one single village, something like that, with the speed of average 1 or 2 days. And even on the 17 days, one township, more than 2,500 people, they say that they don't want to do this as a cash for work anymore, because they believe that they want to contribute one day as a volunteer, and they walk together with us, 2,000, just imagine 2,500 people, and from one township, and walk nearly 4 to 5 kilometers to another township to do the cleaning. You see, yeah, this is the map showing how they walk from one side to another side. From one township of 50,000 people, Langkali, right, walking to the this place, Tumana, Tumana. Another place which is smaller population but a big area. So you can see within 17 days, the whole place is clean as before. Just you cannot imagine that it was flooded with mud, with rubbish, and so on and so forth along the route. But now everything goes back to usual, right? And you can see how the power of humanity is. Within 18 days, right? More than 84,000 of people participate in cleaning. And you can see how our team activated or inspired 84,000 every day, for 18 days, and do the cleaning for I think more than 300 to 400 hectares of township. But one very important experience that I want to share with you, and I also always remind me that although cleaning clearing the physical environment is really, really very important. But sometimes I have the feeling that, in fact, the motivation or the power behind this is actually the power of our mindset. When I was there, back to this 2009, while we are still doing the cleaning process on the 16th day, we are still doing the cleaning process. There was another typhoon came. You see, another typhoon came, and according to the prediction, it's going to hit Manila 5 days later. 5 days later. So while we are still doing the cleaning of all the township, the people were so sad because they thought that whatever we are doing now, we were doing at that moment, it was just in vain. You see, it might be destroyed again by another typhoon coming. And at that time, our brothers and sisters in Philippines, they do prayer twice a day before we start doing the cash for work, and after we complete our cash of work, we will do the more than 10,000 of people's kind of prayer in these 3 townships together. And you can see, of course, we do together because in Philippines, most of them, they are Catholics, and we invite our sisters to do the prayer together. And you can see many villages when early morning, when they come to our place and then, report themselves and then start to take up all those cleaning tools before they start to go to their own village to do the cleaning. They do the prayer, and you can see many villagers cry when they were praying. You see, so in material, you can see young people, whether they are they are just ordinary workers, they might look not so friendly, you see, or whatever you can imagine. But during that time, every people were so sincere. They believe that, and because of course we have to believe also, right? At that time, I myself, we think that we have to follow master's teaching, like we still continue to do the cleaning. Just imagine that 5 days later, we are going to clean everything, in the Marikina city. But at the same time, we are still have to very alert. There's 5 days later, there's another typhoon approaching us. So you can see how struggling was the victims at that time, you see. But after praying for more than 10 days and so on, while we are still doing the cleaning work, you can't imagine that the prediction of the typhoon just follow the path that most of the countries, like from the prediction from China, from even from the United States and so on, is out of their expectation. The typhoon itself just make I would say this is called 180-degree turns, right? And not hitting any countries or neighboring countries like Taiwan or even Japan. They just go back to the ocean itself. It looks like something like this typhoon have heard about our prayer, you see. So this process is really making myself seriously think of what is the power or the will is. For one single person, you might feel you might not have the confidence, right? Is it so superstitious? Only I myself praying for good things, then the good things will happen. If your hope is for the benefits of the whole, for example, for the Marikina, then we should ask all the Marikina people to come in front to pray. If we are able to purify their mind at that moment, something miracle will happen. This is what I cultivated in my mind along this in my experience when we are doing disaster relief. A lot of times when we for example when today when we are going out for distribution and we know that there might be raining tomorrow and so on and so forth. Most of the time when we are having a very sincere thoughts and we are trying to also motivate or trying to inspire our victims, a lot of miracles will happen. Just like this Philippines. Nowadays in Philippines, our Tzu Chi was so famous not because of a lot of big projects we can do, but because of we are able to inspiring the people over there, and also inspiring ourselves. And this is just a result of in 2014, we have 300,000 now in 19 days of the same period of time, but we are able to mobilize 300,000 people to participate in this Tacloban's cleaning. And because at that time we have to clean the whole city, not just only cleaning a township. And so it also triggered me on thinking of these questions: what and how? As I share with our friends and our Dharma system brothers together, in our this disaster relief, we always facing the challenges that what we are supposed to do. Of course, as what Master have expecting us is we must have three things done together. One thing is we have to provide the emergency needs in time to the place. And secondly is with the goods, whether we can create the kinds of harmony effect in the community, just like what we have done in Philippines. And at the same time, how we can inspire the local people to become our volunteers. Just for your information, I was very surprised. Like today in Tzu Chi University, just only this year, we have two students. They are going to study in our university, and they were from this Tacloban, our this Great Love city in Tacloban. Nearly 5 or 6 years ago, when they were still in their junior high school, when they will become our Tzu Chi, and now they come to our Tzu Chi University to study. And there are more and more students from this Tzu Chi Great Love Village to come to the university to study, right? It's all started from 5 or 6 years ago. For the students to come to our Tzu Chi University, it's not so easy because they have to learn Chinese before they are able to enroll in the undergraduate course, right? So they have the kind of a belief, the kind of courage to leave their own small city in Philippines and come to Taiwan. This is really have the kind of what do you call the courage. So this is what we are supposed to do. And how regarding to the principles, regarding to the relief principles, what we want to channel our resources through our relief principles, through our humanitarian approaches to achieve what we are expecting or what our masters expecting us to do, right? This is another the happenings in Philippines is the same mechanism, the same principles, the same humanitarian approach that we apply, and every time, although the scenario or the kind of service that we're providing might be different, but the outcome is the same. I mean, the state of the mind of the people over there is the same. Eventually, they will become our committed commissioner, right? Just like U Ting Tun. Right. And so this come to the the kind of this is we call it golden circle. There was I get it from a book about 10 years ago from Simon Sinek, right? In the book, it always, it's actually synchronized with what our master's teaching is. Just now we mentioned that what is related to the appearance, to the results, to the achievements that we can see, we can feel, right? And in order to achieve all these kind of achievements, what are the guidelines? What are the methods? What are the ways? What are the procedure that we have to implement? What we got to follow, right? But somehow, while we are doing how in order to achieve what, we got to always in our mind, integrate our belief, even just a very small belief or intention or purpose or motivation or creativity during this process, whether it's really synchronized with our mind. Otherwise, without a very clear the kind of intention or the kind of belief or very strong why, we can't move very far. We can't move very far. I wouldn't say that I'm very successful in my personal experience in Tzu Chi's Bodhisattva path, but it really making myself always know how to reflect. For example, in certain international review project, I also feel very frustrated. Sometimes I cannot make it. I always feel very not to say always. Sometimes I feel frustrated or I feel I'm not successful in doing what. You see, this is because sometimes I couldn't relate it or I couldn't feel why I want to do so. Especially when we want to negotiate with especially negotiate with the government officer, or sometimes we want to negotiate with the service provider. We want to negotiate with those what do you call the consultant. You feel very frustrated, and you can't achieve what our foundation expected, right? Unless you are able to integrate your mind of state at that time to what you are facing. So this is what I call the golden circle from the Simon Sinek, right? The intention is very important because intention is going to define or determine what you're going to achieve eventually. And this is not from the experience only. And in fact, if everything we do, we have a very strong belief, eventually what you're going to have, it will become synchronized. This is the left hand, the circle in the my left hand side. But if I work from outside to the inner, like for example, if before I go to a disaster relief place, I start to think of what kind of achievement I'm going to have. I might have start to imagine, this time I'm going to Nepal. 2 years ago, when I was in Sri Lanka or in Burma, Myanmar, I start to imagine within 10 days what I'm going to achieve, right? If compare from my previous experience in Myanmar, within 10 days, how many things I should have done, right? Compared to now, I'm going to Nepal, right? If I start to have this kind of achievement or the kind of a goal, whatever, physically or just now we mentioned the appearance, whatever, start to in my mind, it will be very, very difficult. It will be very difficult for me to start from my belief. If I start to entangle my mind, my state of mind in the external outcomes, it's triggered me on thinking of this. You see, if I believe that I want to be a healthy person, right, and I'm be able to move freely, to help others, to inspire people, right? How I'm going to realize my all this good intention? Yeah, then I must have certain principles. I must have certain methods, right? For example, I must be able to work together with the society. I must be able to take care of my own personal health, right? And I must sleep early and wake up early. I should not be sleeping at 3 a.m. in the midnight, and you cannot expecting yourself have a very clear mind the next day, right? So these are the principles, or these are the certain what do you call, precepts, maybe you have to follow, so that eventually you are able to achieve something that it will come naturally. If you start from a very strong belief that I want to serve people, I want to be a person of good health, starting from this initial belief, which is there's no boundary. In fact, every time when we go to a disaster relief area, before we depart, Master never asking us to say that when you are going there, 1 month later, you should be able to distribute to 10,000 people or what, or you should be able to help more than 90% of the people, of the disaster victims in this disaster area. Master never giving us this kind of target, not like when you are doing what do you call, insurance sales, right? Your boss always give you a KPI that you got to tackle 10,000 customers within 1 year, so on, right? This will definitely push you very, very hard. But after 10 years, will you be able still doing your work? I don't think so. It's because of the monetary benefits that you gain, right? So to us, if we always integrate Master's teaching, in our heart, and then when we go out, when we are doing our international relief, we are following the principles, most of the time we will be able to achieve more or less the same, outcomes. The appearance, the figures might not be the same, but the kind of, just now I mentioned the 3 stages: the harmony of society, the what do you call, the participation of the local people in our Tzu Chi's voluntary work. We will achieve the same achievements instead of defined by those physical appearance. Okay, yeah, the achievements is always there. It's always there, and this is what I learned from the international relief, and for my own personal life, it's also the same. I never regret that I have spent more than 10 years, doing the same things, because every time when I talk to my colleagues, when I was working in Motorola back to before 2004, they have a very great achievement in terms of their career. They can talk to you all those technology and so on and so forth. They feel all the kind of reputation they have gained in their engineering life or career, right? But sometimes I found that they were very insufficient in many aspects of life. And this cannot be gained if you never ever have a very a big vow, you see, starting from the very beginning. And that's why if you start to think from the outside world, and you want to achieve, although you might say that, yeah, I'm also having the same objective or same purpose, then I want to go back to see how I'm going to achieve that. You have a lot of conflict. You will have a lot of conflict, and your mind will be very poor. It will be very poor. This I also experienced this a few times. You see, so this is the last slide I want to share with you because of time limitation. This guy, Max Planck, he's a person with which I really admire him when I was still as a student. Because of him, I even want to go to study pure science, in physics. But somehow, anyway, luckily I didn't do that. I won't say this because life can never be a repeat in another path. What I'm trying to say is this: in the modern world, we always thought that achievements from the outside world is we judge our own achievements from what we have achieved outside our body. But in fact, in this quantum physics, in modern world, because of the discovery of this quantum physics, that's why you can see, for example, I give you one example. Last time we only used the microscope using the light, the natural light or some stronger light to see those small things, microscope, right? But nowadays, if you want to study virus, you want to study other things, you have to, sorry, is it 7 o'clock already? Oh, yeah, it's coming the time. Yeah, I have 3 minutes now. Yeah. But if you want to see virus, you want to see bacteria or those virus within the
coronavirus.
Yeah. Nanometers.
Virus. 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 Okay, you can finish now.
It's equal, right? Is it normal? Back to normal? Yeah. You have to use electronic microscope. And why we can be able to use an electronic microscope? Because we as a human, we discover the quantum physics. It states that actually particles never exist as a particle or as a metal, but any particles or any metal that you see, actually it will exist in the two state. Means it will exist as energy, as a wave, as a microwave, or whatever kind of a waveform. And at the same time, it also exists as a particles. You see, this is a duality of a material. But the important statements from this physics, this is what we call the father of quantum physics. He said that I regard matter as derived from consciousness. Because for today, we won't go into the details of how the physicists, these crazy people, they can discover so many wonderful things. But the major message they are going to say is that consciousness is the power of everything. All those physical worlds is actually derived from the consciousness. Of course, to the scientists, they say it's consciousness, but to us, we are following the Bodhisattva path is the belief, the kind of a positive belief, positive thinking that will form the world today. So lastly, I hope that my sharing will really give myself and also give all of you a little bit of inspiration. Thank you very much. And yeah, this is the last, maybe the last slide I want to share with you. In fact, since after this COVID-19, I, of course, as a Tzu Chi volunteers, we pray every day, right? We pray with our this prayer song. And at the same time, I also joined certain a group doing prayer, because nowadays I believe that every day before we going out to work, we have to pray. And every night before we sleep, we have to pray. And the kind of prayer is not something like tomorrow I hope that I can have something good happen to me, and tomorrow I can achieve 30 marks, 100 marks in my examination. Then it will be too small. For prayer, we have to say something for the universe, for all the human beings, just like what Master tells us every day. And I found that because I have been nearly 2 years, I can't go back to Malaysia. I can't see my mother. I can't see my relative and so on. Already 2 years, more than 2 years already. So how I'm going to calm myself? I found out that every day, early morning, 5:30, when I do the prayer for 20 minutes, I just repeat this kind of wordings, and every night, 9:30, I do the same thing again for 20 minutes. I found out that, whenever I have certain time when I call my mother, when I speak to her, I found there's a difference. I found out that although we are physically, thousands of kilometers away, but to my feeling, it's just that she's in front of me, and I just try to say that this is the energy that I get from my daily prayer. So thank you very much for hearing my sharing. Thank you. So, Sister Tzu Chi, can you take over?
And Brother Ji Ren for the wonderful sharing. Let us hear from Brother Joe.
Well, it's always good to see Brother Ji Ren again. Yeah, thank you for putting up that picture for so long ago. We did spend a lot of time together. Now, come to think of it, we went to many places together. I think we went to Pakistan and also later in Nepal. I think Zimbabwe also, right? Zimbabwe, we went there to construct the very first models of the first models of the prefab housing. I think we were there in Zimbabwe with Brother Chu. I always call Brother Ji Ren Lao Da because he's always ahead of us and in learning and also doing so much, has a lot of experiences. And so thanks for Brother Ji Ren at first sharing with the stories and then telling us how he felt and what he had learned, not only the actual lessons learned, but also how he felt inside within his mind about what is considered success in life, and what does he want to achieve in life. His friends who might be who might be doing very well in industry, but for him to be able to succeed in life, it's a different meaning and a different value system. And I think that's what we need to do, ultimately finding the values of our own lives. Thank you to Brother Ji Ren, and I hope that in the future, there's many more opportunities for Tzu Chi University to cooperate with Tzu Chi Foundation on all these projects. Thank you. Seeing the children, they're very smart and they're willing to learn, and this is very important. Thank you, Brother Ji Ren. Thank you, everybody.
Gratitude to Brother Joe and Brother Ji Ren for the great, wonderful sharing since 7 o'clock this morning. At 6:30 this morning. Trust everyone has inspired as much as it has on me. Feeling lots of Dharma clouds today, just like what we have listened recently in chapter 5 in these medicinal herbs. A lot of compassion, nutrients, and inspiration for us to walk the path in not only in family but also in Tzu Chi. The deepest gratitude, deepest sincerity in Brother Joe. I must apologize for not being clear that Brother Joe needs to share. But despite that very last moment, Brother Joe could still bring on to us these great insights on the sincerity, integrity, faith, and steadfastness for us to contemplate on how to be able to apply it better in our everyday life after much understanding. Brother Ji Ren, actually, he was very busy. Actually, he has been very busy. I'm sure he's still, because of many students, the international students are coming in. In fact, he slept at 2 o'clock in the morning. Today, actually, just within a few hours, Brother Ji Ren is back and share with us his insights. Truly overwhelming and inspiring. Yeah, I regard matter as derived from consciousness. I see that in both brothers because of their deepest faith and sincerity, having great understanding of Master's teaching. And for without that great inner strength, I'm not sure how they both could accomplish so much. 感恩 brothers and sisters for your presence and for supporting us since this very early morning. Hope that each of us could sustain all this Dharma joy and take in another piece of our Dharma Master and Hualien love to our life. Let us invite our brother Joe to lead us in paying homage. Let us please make 3 bows to the Buddha and Dharma Master as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life, universal truth. Comes together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Okay, everyone. I'm not sure if you all wish to take one group photo. Maybe we take one group photo lah. I'm sure. Okay. If possible, everyone can on the video. It's okay even if you're not in Tzu Chi uniform, I understand. We have some Tata public joining. Dr. Viti from the vegetarian side. I think the president of Malaysia Vegetarian Society also joining us today. Very welcome to brother. And Sister YY. Okay, let's if possible, please on your video. Ji Ren, 信用感恩哦. Take good care. Okay, we look forward to brother Ji Ren next sharing. Always very wonderful. Different from different perspective. Always very overwhelming. Okay. 感恩. Okay, 感恩 everyone. Take care. Take good care.
感恩 thank you
Bye-bye. Take
everyone.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 感恩.
Okay, 感恩 both brothers. 感恩.
感恩.